He's got it.
He's got a lot of speed, but he's boxed up. Can he find an opening? No, he's going to have to push his way through.
Now he's going to go for that big run again.
3 wide going into turns.
Highline right off the corner.
Oh, man.
He's up to 4th place already.
They're still going to be side by side.
And he's going to have to back out. Oh, he gets help. He gets turned around in a big moment.
Welcome to the beautiful virtual Daytona Beach, Florida. Tonight we put some money on the line and see who's going to take home the checkered flag with the lion's share of the cash pool payout. Nearly $800 is being paid tonight, with $300 to the driver that claims the win. This is the Speed Designs 212 Rolling Thunder Money Race, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joey Atterbury, and joining me in the booth is Sebastian Holmichael. Behind the scenes is our director, Ryan Bauer, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Well, Daytona is one of the most well-known circuits in the world. It has gone through a few iterations through its history. Let's take a look at what this place is all about with our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Daytona International Speedway. This track began life after Bill France Sr. realized the Daytona Beach road course had outgrown itself. With ambitious plans and the blessing of the city officials, he built what would become the very first superspeedway in NASCAR history. At 2.5 miles and with 31 degrees of banking, stock cars easily reach speeds of around 200 miles per hour. Pretty much every car can take the course flat out. This makes for one of the most unique styles of racing motorsports has ever seen. The slipstream allows drivers to stay with one another so easily that it becomes less about the speeds each driver can reach and more about the strategy of racing in a pack. Bump drafting is a technique in which the car behind actually pushes the car in front so that both are able to reach higher speeds. And side drafting is another in which the drivers use the air off the sides of their cars to slow their opponents down. Staying out of trouble is always a difficult aspect of superspeedway racing, and it's not uncommon to see drivers intentionally move to the back of the pack to avoid the chaos. In fact, the high speeds make large wrecks so hard to avoid that the term "the big one" has become commonplace to refer to the almost inevitable multi-car pileups the circuit is known for. Also, entering pit lane is its own skill, which requires practice in order to slow the car up as quickly and safely as possible. Keeping the car clean and in contention is the main goal for much of the event. Then the final few laps, it's a race to the line, with any alliances usually dissolving and the driver's urge to win taking over. With it being home to one of the world's most famous races, the Daytona 500, fans from around the globe flock to this landmark circuit. Just like the cars on it, the Daytona International Speedway shows no signs of slowing down.
Daytona International Speedway is a special place for a lot of different reasons. Well, Seb, give us a rundown with the track map here.
Of course, the famous track, Daytona Beach in the United States, of course. The tri-oval, and we have, I would say, 2 wide is okay, 3 wide, very dangerous, 2.5 miles of ultra speed tonight.
It is a simple track, as you see, and 31 degrees and a little bit shy of that there in the tri-oval. And tonight, what we've got is a special event, the Speed Designs 212. Going to be doing 85 laps here at Daytona using the NASCAR Gen 4. That is the happy accident. It's kind of like the ARCA car mixed in with the Cup motor, and we are going to be listening to those V8 motors scream all night long. Everybody is on a fixed setup out there, so that means All of the people will have the same performance underneath them. One spare car, 3 sets of tires total, and 1 green-white checkered attempt. That is the recipe for what we are going to see tonight on the racetrack. Well, it actually looks like practice is just now winding down, so we're going to go ahead and talk about what is to come here with the Rolling Thunder Racing Series. And are you a passionate iRacing enthusiast seeking the perfect blend of fun and competition? Look no further. The Rolling Thunder Racing Series invites you to be part of a dynamic and competitive Gen 4 Series League set to kick off Sunday, October 1st. Ready to secure your spot on the starting grid? Join the League Discord for all the action-packed details and registration confirmation. And there on the screen, you have the links to the registration and the Discord page. Make sure you go sign up. Tonight is going to be like a little bit of a dip of the toe in the pond, an appetizer, if you will, on what we are expecting to see for the entire Rolling Thunder Racing Series. Well, Seb, it looks like practice is officially winding down. We're going to be getting qualifying here in just a minute, and to talk about that qualifying, we only have the 5 minutes and the standard 2 laps here for this session.
Yeah, and it's the first step before the 85 laps lottery for the big money prizes here tonight. But I know they are all very eager to get the cars to race. If we think about the V8, if we think about the era where these cars were on the real tracks, like, I don't know, Tony Stewart, Kurt Busch, Dale Jarrett, and Dale Earnhardt, of course, like, I think they're very enthusiastic tonight, and I'm happy to be here for the first time, and let's see what happens in the qualifying.
Well, Seb, we're happy to have you here. I know that it is late over there in Germany where you're at, and I know that it's sunny over here in virtual Daytona Beach, Florida, so pumped to have you here doing the oval stuff, and what better way to kick it off than here at Daytona with these cars. Well, qualifying has started. What we have on our screen is the number 86. This is Anthony Green going down the straightaway here. Now, I mentioned it is 2 laps in qualifying. Usually, what we'll see with these cars, the driver on the first lap will actually go all the way up top, around the top side of the racetrack. They do this to really build the momentum. That is the longest way around the racetrack, and when you take the longest distance, you actually build up the highest top speed. Now, when you've got that high top speed, you'll naturally see the cars transition down to that yellow line for their qualifying lap. Now, everybody else has a different style of how they want to qualify these cars, and ultimately, Seb, you as well as I know, 85 laps at Daytona, you can start from the back and make your way to the front, no problem. This is a drafting racetrack.
Yeah, I think strategy will always be key in those kinds of races. I mean, if something happens in front, it's better to be not in the back, but in the end, what can you do? You have to evade the wrecks, you have to be patient, you have to be smart about your driving, conserve the tires, and be in front when it counts, and when it counts, of course, is in the end.
I think you just said something incredibly smart in track position. It is better to be up at the front. As we get the first few times rolling in here, you'll see them start to pop up. But if you're at the front of the field and a big wreck happens, chances are it's going to happen behind you. So yeah, track position is incredibly important, and therefore qualifying is going to be important. Like we're seeing Dylan Jones here. This is kind of the method that I was talking about. You're going to see him go all the way up top around the entire first lap, really just wring the RPMs out of this big old V8, and then when it comes down to his second lap, he'll put that thing on the yellow line and go for that lap time. Right now, it's Jared Haynes that's provisionally your pole sitter, and as I say that, Brenton Barker goes to the top. Joe Heel now in second place, and Seb, look at this. It is just a constant cycle of who is grabbing fast lap.
Yeah, the fastest laps are now cycling in, and yeah, every thousandth of a second will decide maybe the pole position here.
I think it will, because I'm looking only 300ths between first and second, 200ths, 100th. I mean, hundredths of a second separating the majority of the top of this field here. Dylan Jones comes across. Yeah, and you see him kind of using the top side of the racetrack, then also using the bottom side. And here's another one that is yet to put in a time. This is the #1 car of Trevor Williams, still on his outlap right now.
Yeah, but you see the top 3, 4,000s, 9,000s, the separation between them very, very tight. They know what they are doing here.
See what Trevor Williams using that high line throughout this warm-up here. See if he transitions down into the yellow line, which he does through the tri-oval. I bet you what we're going to see out of the #1 car here is he's never going to go above the middle lane throughout the entire racetrack. You're going to see him hold the yellow line throughout 1 and 2 here, and even going down the back straightaway, he's only going to be using the bottom side.
And maybe going for the shortest way is also a strategy.
Absolutely it is. That is a 100% what he is doing. When all of the cars are so evenly matched, you look for every last little inch, literally inch of the racetrack, and that's what he's doing, is he's shaving those inches on the shortest distance around.
But never go under the yellow line, of course. Not using the Williams Esports line.
Well, and to talk about that line real fast, we do have qualifying coming to an end right here, so we'll have a 5-minute warm-up. Is that you cannot go below the yellow line here in the Rolling Thunder series. It's important that we talk about that. You cannot advance your position. And also, there's a few other things. There is a 17x DQ limit here tonight. So you did mention we got the money on the line, but it's going to be incredibly important to keep it clean on the racetrack out there. Well, we officially have qualifying complete. That means the warm-up is out there. And something that I want to talk about here is the next race that's going to be happening on October 5th here at Talladega. Rolling Thunder is having another money race. So this is in addition to the league that we talked about. If you're interested, there is the Discord link on the bottom. It's a $20 entry fee, and the prize pool payout that you see on the screen is the same as tonight. $300 going to the winner and nearly $800 in total prize pool payout. 1st through 10th is going to be getting some cash prizes. And Seb, I mentioned this is an appetizer for what we're about to see in the league. Well, here's another chance to just get in on a special event and win some money.
Yeah, what is better on iRacing, if in a league or in the official, than a special event? And Talladega, with these cars and with, money on the line, what is a better evening?
Always nice to bring home some actual cash from the virtual world. Help pay those virtual bills of all that crash damage that you get out there. Well, like I said, it is under a warm-up session right now. We'll have our grid once we have the cars lining up on the pace lap here. But this is just a little bit of a 5-minute break between qualifying and the actual race for the drivers to kind of get their level head and get ready for what the thing is to come, and that is 85 laps here at Daytona.
And what's really important also maybe is that we have a live race control dishing out the yellow flags.
Great point. You're right. We do not have just the standard iRacing yellows tonight. That means somebody is up there as an eye in the sky. Admin controlled yellow flags. And what we tend to see with that is if there's a smaller wreck that's not affecting the majority of the race, they'll usually let that go and let everybody continue to race. However, we'll see how race control really decides how to call tonight's race. We did mention the DQ limit. There's over 30 cars that are going to be participating here at Daytona tonight. So 1st through 10th paying out that cash prize. Seb, you as well as I know that when you put money on the line, the elbows tend to come out as well.
Yes, they will. Maybe in the end more than in the beginning. But you also did say already we have got 17x DQ limit. And if we think about it, a 4x is, yeah, can happen at any time. And if you got 2, I think the sweat is coming down then to maybe, yeah, have another one. And then it's really, really tight to get a DQ then. And with 1 fast repair, yeah, maybe, yeah, everyone will look for their track position.
Well, and Ryan and I were talking about it pre-race that you can rack up 4x potentially more than once in a single wreck, because if, let's say, if you get wrecked and then you're coming back on the racetrack and somebody clobbers you, or you're trying to get a limped car back home to pit road and spin it out again, there's 8x potentially right there. So yeah, you got to be very careful with that DQ limit. And I know that in the past previous Rolling Thunder money races, the competitors have kept it very clean. We're about to see what these wedge-shaped cars will do here at Daytona. I don't expect anything else. I've been looking through this entry list here, Seb, and I see a lot of names that are pretty big-time oval racers, and they should show a lot of good respect out there.
Yeah, and also the qualifying already showed what they are capable of. And in the end, if everyone sees you got 4x, you can assume that in some situations. Yeah, they know they can, you know, if they have still 0x, they can go to risk in the end.
And they do have that 1 fast repair that is available to them. You don't want to use it, though, here at Daytona, because it's kind of like a life jacket, a lifeline for you. If you use it too early and then you get caught up in the big one late, well, all of a sudden that lifeline is now gone. Well, checkered flag on warm-up has ended, so that means we have the official starting grid of the Speed Designs 212. Michael Larch is going to be your pole sitter with a time of 47.944. Just 5/1000ths of a second behind him is Randall Nichols. He'll share the front row. Michael Miller is going to be third, with Darwin Hansen fourth on row number 2. Tommy Janikowski in 5th place. Billy Rickett in 6th. Trevor Williams will start in 7th. Bobby Forbes in 8th. Dean Gagliano in 9th. And Spencer Brown will share row number 5 in that 10th place position.
And in the 6th row, we have Denver Lee Targeson in P11, Brett Barker, P12, Bo Tiffany, P13, Colin Hopkins right beside him, Joe Haley in 15th, Jordan Baru in 16th, 17th place in row 8, Ryan Perrone and Anthony Green in 18th, Chase Tamer in 19th, and Travis Noble in the 20th spot.
Then in 21st, we have Matthew Dula in the number 17. Jared Haynes lined up next to him. Joshua Suss in the 23rd position. Jason Maines going to be lined up in 24th. Jordan Peck in 25th. Dylan Jones in 26th. And then comes the cars that did not set a qualifying time. Daniel Eberhardt, Barrett Polimas, Jake Collins, and Eric Sellers. And I say those names rather quickly, but take note of what's going on with those 4 cars at the back. Barrett Polimas, Daniel Eberhardt, Jake Collins, they are all extremely fast on the racetrack. And speaking of the racetrack, look at these weather conditions. 70 degrees and beautiful virtual Daytona Beach. 75-degree air temperature. Not any wind to speak of. That plane is landing on the runway without any crosswind whatsoever. Seb, are you excited for tonight? Do you think we're going to get a green flag run, or you think we're going to get a quick yellow?
Of course, I'm super excited for this. I signed up for this to do the commentary with you tonight, and I'm super happy to be here, and I want to see them race, and I want to see much green flag action as much as possible, and I think they will make it green for several laps now.
Something to note about the starting grid, the number 93 of Tommy Janikowski, I see him actually in pit road, so he is opting to start from pit lane. Could be difficult for him because I don't see anybody else down there. If he had one person to draft with, I would say okay, but here we go. the pace truck. Not something you often see here at Daytona on the oval. It's going to be coming off of turn number 4. The field will be in the hands of Michael Larch, driver of the number 2.
And it's not a zone start, it's a green start.
Correct. Got to wait until Barney drops that green flag, which he does. And we've got a green flag on the Rolling Thunder Money Race here at Daytona International Speedway. It continues to be side by side throughout the entire top 10 as these cars really take a lap or two to completely get up to speed. We are still side by side here as I know that we're working on getting everything going here on the technical side of things. It's Michael Larch that's leading the way down the back straightaway right now. He is getting pushed by, I believe that is Darwin Hansen. We'll get the pictures back up to you immediately as soon as we can. I'll try to keep you all updated in case any big action happens on the racetrack.
And
However,
pushing in the beginning is super dangerous, of course. We talked about it.
yes, it is incredibly dangerous out there. Speaking of these cars, they are a little bit odd shaped when it comes to the front and the rear bumpers lining up out there. The back bumper is a little bit high. The front bumper is a little low. And actually, we just got a little bit of a hip check between second and third place out there going down the back straightaway. It was Michael Larch that's going to lose the momentum. And now it is the top lane of Randall Nichols in the number 69 that is going to be taking the lead. But Seb, as we're about to see, once we get the pictures back up and running here, it's going to be about organization in the line. I don't see the competitors really bump drafting too much. And maybe you can speak a little bit on that by what I mean organization of having your line nice and tidy.
Yeah, also maybe the side draft could come into play and unstable the car. Everyone is trying to get a good run in their line. Oh, there was also a little twitchy moment in the front, but nobody wants to open a third line, of course. They want to have stability now. They want to be secure now. They want to make miles now.
Yes, I couldn't agree more with you. 85 laps is a long way, you know, and so you do have to log laps at some point, and that's exactly what the competitors seem to be doing right now. And you said it perfectly also pre-race that too wide here at Daytona, it's plenty comfortable around this place. It's when you go 3 wide that you kind of start getting nervous.
Yeah, also on the exit when the banking flips a little again to the straight, unstables the rear of the car, super dangerous. If then there's even a contact, we have a big one, of course.
Hopefully no big ones here soon. We will have the pictures for everybody that's watching here up and running just momentarily. Thank you for your patience, and it still continues to be Michael Larch, the number 2 car. He is our leader. Then we've got Randall Nichols, the number 69 car that started just a couple positions down. He is actually on the outside lane. He's trying to build the momentum, and what we've been seeing is just the ebb and flow of the outside lane kind of gaining the momentum down the straightaway, and then through the corners, Michael Larch in the inside lane have the advantage of the shorter distance around.
Yeah, shorter distance, but please correct me, isn't he using more tires on the inside?
I think that's up to debate, probably. I think that if we were talking about a mile and a half, yes, probably using more tires. And then also the track surface comes into play there. But, 3 wide actually right now for the lead. I believe that's Randall Nichols that got sucked down into the middle here. And, a little bit of contact. And now we've got a car spinning here in turn number 1. Somehow we have kept it green flag and everybody has stayed off of the wall. I believe there's one car in the grass right now, though.
And I don't think it was the same car. He lost maybe 8 positions, but he saved it on the inside.
We should have our picture back up and running now for everybody. You can see it is Michael Larch leading this race.
And the netcode gods were yeah, like calm still. It was super close racing there.
And this is the first time that this pack is really broken up, and I know you guys are seeing it for the first time, but it has been 2 by 2 by 2 pretty much for the entire top 15, and now we finally see it's the number 69 of Randall Nichols. He's giving the push to Michael Larch, and it's starting to form up into a single file line and really organized to do those laps like you were talking about.
Yeah, but you can also see there was one short instance of a 3 wide, and what happened? A little bit of chaos, and now we have a total different race here when they may, as you say, form just one line, but still some cars are out there in the open ocean on the outside.
It's kind of like if you are all familiar with the game Uno. Yeah, everybody's just kind of holding their cards, and then all of a sudden you get suckered down into the middle and you got that Uno Reverso card, or maybe even the Draw 4, where you got to fall back through the field. But right now it is all Michael Larch, your pole sitter, and I think that this is a strategy here. I don't think we're going to see the number 2 car come off of the yellow line unless he absolutely has to block something coming from behind him.
Yeah, of course. He has the space in front, maybe get some nice bump drafting, hopefully, from the back. The outside line, yes, I don't know, 2 car lengths back, and they, yeah, thunder down here the track in Daytona.
Off into turn number 1, around turn number 2, and if you guys are curious at all, yes, the sun is setting right now. You kind of have the golden hour happening on the racetrack. It's really low in the sky. I'm curious to know how far down that sun is actually going to go. Riding on board with Joshua Suss here in the number 14 car. He's up 4 positions, started back there in 23rd, up to 19th now.
And I just hope the lights will turn on then later. But in the end, it's the perfect time to have such a race, have these visuals here on the track. Also, like the sun was setting in the qualifying. It's yeah, it's what you want to have, and why not do it in the simulation?
Right? I mean, it looks beautiful, and not only that, but it usually means the temperatures are pretty good. You're not racing right in the heat of the day, in the heat of the moment, if you will. And like I said, it looks beautiful, and plus when you get the transition, when the lights come on and everything, it's just really cool here in the sim. And that's the other thing that we haven't talked about it at all, but coming through turn number 4, you have that mega blind spot, and you're actually not expecting it when you're racing as close as what the top 10 is right now, literally bumping each other. That can come into play when all of a sudden you're blinded by the light.
Yeah, sitting with the sunglasses on in your sim rig isn't what you want to do, of course, but in the end, yeah, I know some people maybe will turn this effect off, but I'm glad we have it here in our show.
You know, you bring up so many good points because I wasn't even thinking about it. I traditionally race in virtual reality. There's a lot of different ways to race here in iRacing, whether it be a single screen or a triple screen or virtual reality. And when you have the sunset here, you're right, you can have different settings on each machine depending on how capable your PC is. And I actually know that in VR, when the sun starts to go down, you have heavy frame hits. That could actually be a detriment to your race.
Yeah, that's also sadly true. I mean, iRacing is here for 15 years now. So, yeah, much development in that. And also with the new update this week, in week 13. But, yeah, okay. And you said it, there's the lucky circumstances which put this car together, which we're seeing here right now. So, yeah, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I mean, with VR, you can maybe sometimes look away when you don't want to look directly into the sun. But in the end, yeah, maybe it catches you off guard if you have frame drops. So it's still a simulation, it's not a real world, but it's as close as it can be.
I couldn't agree more. The VR is, if you all haven't experienced it, I highly suggest you do it. It's literally like putting on a helmet and then you are transported inside of the race cars. We ride on board here. This is the number 50 of Ryan Perrone back in the 17th place position. And something I noticed, we have a new leader down low, and actually we're 3 wide. We got contact. We've got a wreck coming off of turn number 4. This all started, I believe, with the 88 of Spencer Brown way up top. And Seb, I think you saw initially actually what everybody was checking up for, and is that lapped car that they were approaching.
Yeah, I think so too, that a lap car maybe caused in some way this situation. There he was on the left side of the screen. And maybe everyone wants to, shuffle around. But, okay, the hit is behind that. So lap car is not at fault, but still big wreck now. And maybe some people are taking their fast repair.
Definitely not the lap car's fault. I actually think that Spencer did the right thing. He was up in front leading that outside lane. He saw the lapped car. He went to the top side of the racetrack to hopefully have everybody move up there with them. And instead, he got a 3 wide moment, which I don't think he was expecting. And so you're right. Yeah, not to do with the lapped car at all. And ooh, look at that heavy, heavy impact from Ryan Perrone. That's got to be a 4X. That one's definitely going to hurt.
Yeah, not only the 4X, but also the fast repair gone. And yeah, tilting up the car. And then, yeah, the big hit later on after the spin. I mean, if you spin, it's one thing, but if you get hit, if you get T-boned at such high speed, yeah, that's a major problem.
Getting all these fantastic replays from the bearded sim racer behind the scenes, our producer. Fantastic stuff going on, and as we wrap up these replays, we actually have some pit road action right now. Michael Larch, Randall Nichols, Billy Rickett, Trevor Williams, Dean Gagliano, literally the entire field has come down pit road. They have said, yes, I would like to use one of the 2 sets of tires that I have on pit lane.
Yeah, 2 sets, early stage of the race. But I think they know what they're doing there. I mean, if they can manage the tires later on, mostly I would say if we have one yellow, the next yellow isn't far away.
Cautions tend to breed cautions. In the words of Bob Barker, remember to get your full course yellows spayed and neutered out there so that way they don't produce more. Hopefully that's not what we're going to see out on the racetrack here. And we apologize once again, going to have a little bit of a technical issue as we get everything back up and running on the broadcast side of things. But I can report to you, nothing has changed on the racetrack. It is still the number 69 of Randall Nichols leading the race. Billy Rickett is in second place in the number 24. Michael Larch is in third, Darwin Hansen fourth, and Trevor Williams is going to round out your top 5. So things shuffled around a little bit in pit lane, but we are still under the full course yellow, Seb.
Yeah, and the full course yellow hopefully gets us the time to sort out the technical side of the stream. But in the end, for the drivers, it's now a time like they went for, what is it, 18 laps?
Let's see here. We're on lap 15 right now, so they did 14 15 laps. Correct.
Yeah, so early stage still, but some laps are managed on under green in a good way. Of course, the 3 wide situation, the first one caused trouble. This one caused a big danger for many of the drivers. So it's time to get the pulse down, to get back into the groove, be focused for the restart.
Well, I hope that's what the crystal ball is saying for us out there. And we've really had a very, very clean race up until now. And something that we can mention, I know that you guys are not getting the pictures on your screens yet. We're getting everything up and running on our broadcast side of things. It is a single file restart for the lead lap cars. Now, If we have a car a lap down, we will get a double file restart. And what I mean by that is lead lap cars will always be on the outside. If you are 1 lap down, you are on the inside line. This is how they used to do it in old school NASCAR. Seb, have you seen any restarts like this?
No, not really. I'm honest. I didn't have seen that.
Yeah, no, so this is how they used to do it in NASCAR. It's kind of a traditional throwback to how the rules once were. However, in today's race, it doesn't look like we've actually got anybody that is 1 lap down on the racetrack. So we're just going to have a single file restart with all of the cars lined up on the top side of the racetrack and simply get going from there. Looks like Pace Truck is appearing on your screen at the perfect time, coming out of turn 4, and if you all see it, everybody's lined up on the top side. The lights are out. That means we're going to be going back racing, unlike the restart, or I should say unlike the initial start. Leader gets to dictate this one. He can go in the zone. We are green flag racing here at Daytona.
Barney's working overtime here, and I think there's some people are trying to get in, the right position for building up a second lane here. I don't know if that works in the front now, with everyone piling up behind them in the draft.
I think one thing to really note here with these cars is that they take a full lap to get up to speed. Now you're seeing Michael Larch, the blue number 2, really give an aggressive push to Randall Nichols. He was trying to clear the bottom lane, but as you see, that bottom lane is now fully up to speed and it has more organization as we're getting 3 wide coming up out of turn number 4. We're going to see if this is going to last here. Oh my goodness, through the tri-oval we go. Billy Rickett leads Randall Nichols side by side, and then we've got Hanson, Larch, and Dula, the 3-wide pairing.
Look like it's breathing time here for another yellow, for another caution, but they managed to pull it off to get back into their lanes, respectively.
That was Matthew Dula in the number 17 car, that black car with the white numbers, the white roof. He was the one who made it 3 wide. And I mentioned the cars are still really accelerating on that first lap. I think he was getting a little bit of his eyes open. Saw a gap out there, but didn't have any friends go up and really help but push him. This is Daniel Eberhardt in the number 90. Remember, Seb, I said there was a few names that started at the back of the field. Well, Daniel Eberhardt is one of them, up 13 positions so far.
Yeah, not putting in a qualifying lap, but now in 14. I mean, he gets $5 in P10, so he's chasing down the money right now.
Speaking of that money, let's talk about it a little bit since we still have some racing going on this green flag. Payout tonight, $300 to the winner. So you can see why everybody is so aggressive to be up front, but it doesn't stop there. $150 for second place, $100 for third place. So Seb, if you're on the podium tonight, you're taking home at least $100.
Yeah, another year of iRacing.
That is a great way to look at it, or a whole bunch of milkshakes.
Yeah, I know internationally there's the Big Mac index, but if it's coming down to sim racing, I would count it in cars, tracks, and sim racing time.
The Big Mac, I love it. I absolutely love it. And you're right. I mean, $300 to the winner tonight. I mean, not only cars and tracks, but you're potentially talking about a piece of equipment for your rig out there. I'm sure that you guys might have your eye on some button boxes or some pedals or whatnot. And $300 can go a long way to that sim racing budget, as you might see a car in the background just kind of up against the wall back there.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, but fortunate for the winner of the money, because what feels better than buying stuff with money you earned by winning a race?
Yeah, now I'll get yelled at over here. It's not playing video games. It is a simulator, and winning money on the simulator is always a good feeling, like you're saying. Well, right now, the 24 of Billy Rickett, that's the car on the bottom, the blue car with the yellow splitter. And then we have Randall Nichols, that's the white car on the top side lane. Those are the two leaders that are side by side. They're getting help in the form of Darwin Hansen and Michael Larch. Those are the next two cars. That's your entire top four. And look at how close these competitors are running. We touched on it, Seb, but oh, there's a problem with Rickett. He got loose coming up out of turn 2. That's a problem area that you have talked about.
Yeah, did he get loose? Did he get a minor contact on the rear? Yeah. It's still problematic, whatever it was. So he needs to get back into the groove now and maybe finds a spot in his lane.
Eagle eyes from Sebastian over here. He did get just a tiny, tiny little bit of help coming off of turn number 2. And these bumpers, they do not line up. If you're familiar with the current gen cars, they really are designed to push. Well, that is not the case with these specific cars. These are the Gen 4 NASCARs, and if you look, the front end is very wedge-shaped, like a cheese wedge. It's pretty much an aerodynamic wedge on the front. In the back end, it is way high up off the ground, so when you try to bump draft, you actually end up lifting the car that you're pushing.
Yeah, super dangerous, of course. Yeah, like we have also seen at the big crash, like when somebody's bumping harder into the car in front, the rear came totally off the ground. So yeah, I can't imagine how difficult it is to pull.
We've got another big wreck here, yellow flag on the racetrack.
Oof.
And I believe that Dylan Jones was involved with this one. I believe himself, he got caught up in the number 14 that just checked up right in front of him. And unfortunately, I believe I see the number 20 of Travis Noble as well that went piling in here. And Seb, this is another big one.
Yeah, of course. It looked very cinematic just seeing one spin car there, and then the camera pans and we see all the cars, but now we see what happened. It's a big, big mess, big, big crash. Yeah, many more fast repairs going down the river.
Such a shame to see another yellow flag. Lap 25 of 85 completed here at Daytona. And this one, definitely another big one here, just a multiple car incident. And I'm curious to see who's going to be coming down pit road. The pit window for these cars under green flag conditions is about 35 laps. I've heard that they can stretch it maybe a little bit further than that, but call it 35 laps is a good rough number. And we've only completed 10 laps since the drivers have seen pit road, and I don't expect him to come down because we only have one more set of tires.
Yeah, of course, and I don't think fuel is an issue right now after the last 10 laps. I mean, we have a little bit more than a quarter of the race already finished, but yeah, there's no use to get fuel, or even there's especially no use wasting your second and last set of tires.
What we're gonna see right here, looks like actually Randall Nichols is gonna bring down a handful of cars, and I'm really curious here. Let's watch Randall Nichols, because does he actually go up on the jacks? Does he take that set of tires, or is this gonna be a fuel only stop?
I would bet my money on fuel only.
That's what it looks like to me as well.
Yep.
I like that. That's okay by me, especially since he drug in the majority of the field. There's a few of them that did stay out. I see the top 5. Michael Larch, Brenton Barker, Trevor Williams, Dean Gagliano, and Joe Heel all stayed out on the racetrack. And with that, we're going to take a quick break, be right back with the restart and more green flag action of the Speed Designs 212.
speed, but he's boxed up. Can he find an opening? No, he's going to have to push his way through.
Now he's going to go for that big run again.
3 wide going into turns.
Highline, right off the corner.
Oh, man.
He's up to 4th place already.
They're still going to be side by side.
And he's going to have to back out. Oh, he gets help. He gets turned around in a big moment.
Seriously, go sign up right now for that Rolling Thunder Racing Series. Is just a little bit of an appetizer of what you're gonna see, but the full series begins October 1st, and those are the prize payouts. $1,000 to that championship winner, and also weekly winnings as they go along. And this is Jason Maines coming out of pit road. The number 12 car has seen a few better days on the racetrack, but thankfully that paint, the body, it's looking brand new, spiffy. I think he might have just had the crew hop over the wall, get that thing touched up.
Yeah, always good to come out of the pits and not stay there for a longer time. But I'm still curious about the fuel-only stop, of course. Maybe you know something the competitors don't know about how far he can stretch his tank.
So, by the math, right, if you do it by the math, they came down about lap 26. Let's just say you stretch it to 40 laps. I mean, you're still well shy. I mean, 15 laps plus that you're shy of making it to that 85 lap count. So I feel that even if you came down during that stop, you still have to come down with everybody else. But I guess the big payoff, Seb, is that if you did come down, you're going to end up taking less fuel. And what does less fuel mean? A shorter pit stop to potentially undercut somebody.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, in the end, if he comes in, gets his second set of tires, the last one, and just have to fuel a little, light car and brand new tires.
That is the recipe for pretty much a qualifying setup, aka as fast as you can go on the racetrack. I will say the one caveat, though, is that if you do 4 tires, you have to sit there for the entire 4-tire stop. You don't have the benefit of taking on just a short amount of fuel at that point. So we'll just have to see. These are all the strategy cards that are going to be laid out for all of the competitors to play themselves. But right now, the pace truck is coming out of turn number 4. The lights have turned on here at the Speedway. Barney has the green flag in his hands. He's waiting for the drivers to reach that restart zone. And we are up and running once again for the Speed Designs 212.
And there's already a huge gap in the front, as I see. And the guys behind trying to catch him, but there's also the thing, like if you come down from the outside and it's so close, but you see how massive the draft is.
Well, and here we go. Trevor Williams in the number 1 car. Garza still accelerating. He knows that he's going to take advantage, and it'll be interesting to see right here. Brenton Barker, he's going to push Michael Larch, and all of a sudden, that number 1 car, he's not going to have any friends. He doesn't have any momentum, and you see him just starting to fall back. His savior is that red number 9. That is Joe Heel. He is coming to help push that number 1 of Trevor Williams. And now that we have completed the first lap under green flag conditions, the cars are at 195 miles an hour. I'm seeing 199 going into turn 1.
Yeah, super fast, super close. We have seen what mistakes can mean for the field, but in the front, there's not much of a wiggle, but there's a 3 wide.
I believe this is Darwin Hansen up top in the number 28. He's made it 3 wide. He's already passed 2 rows. He's using the side draft, and you see him really got the number 3 stuck in the middle here, and I believe that's Barrett Polimas as well in the number 79, but it is Darwin Hansen making the top side work. Does Joe Heel in the red car move up to block? And no, I think he's staying committed to the middle lane. We're continuing the three-wide racing.
And he just hearing his spotter, I guess, at that moment in time. And it's good to be first right now.
It is good to be first, and we have calmed down just a little bit to two-wide racing. As I say that, we're back three-wide racing with the 29 in the middle. That's actually the 79, I'm sorry. That's Barrett Polhemus making his way to the front lanes.
They're closing down again from behind in the draft. But as you can see also, there are already two groups in the front 15 cars.
I think that second group is going to be coming up and catching them pretty quickly. The car that's kind of in the middle of the two groups, that's the number 17 of Matthew Dula, and I know that he is no stranger to making it three wide. And here with these cars, they do have a tremendous drafting potential, and I mentioned the bump draft is very dangerous. However, the box of air that it punches, it's a huge cone effect from behind, and as long as you are in that slipstream, you will be able to catch the driver in front of you.
That's what's all about, like to close this gap, but in a secure way, of course, and then find your way. And I don't know, yeah, Williams did pit in lap 10, I guess. So, yeah, they are all on the same strategy in the front.
Barrett Polhemus, our leader, well, I mean, it can go back and forth, right? Trevor Williams is on the bottom. He leads through the corners. Barrett Polhemus in the 79, he leads down the straightaways in the black and yellow car on the outside. And Barrett in the number 79 was one of the cars that came down during the last green or yellow flag stop. Trevor in the black car down low, he stayed out on the racetrack. So really, I'm looking through our top 10, and it's kind of a mixed bag between all of these cars. Also,
But
looks
now
like
it all calmed down, right?
yeah, a little. Let's just keep our fingers crossed, because I see the number 12, Jason Maines. Remember, we were highlighting him. He was trying to make it three wide going into turn number 3. He was way back there in terms of track position. So, hey, props to that number 12 driver. He's really worked his way up through the field so far.
There is a little bit of three wide. Could be building up there in P10, I guess.
Jason Maines, the number 12 car, he continues to push the limit three wide out here. He actually has a little bit of help here. He's getting bump drafted. I believe this is the number 27 of Dylan Jones. He's coming up to help, and check this out. They're going to try to drive it all the way to the front here. Now the number 90 comes in to help. That's Daniel Eberhardt. We've gone from 2x2 racing to 3x3x3.
Around the outside, the plan is, but of course on the straights, it all shuttles back and forth now, and we have, yeah, 3 rows of three wides, I guess.
We were saying that Daytona 2 wide is comfortable, and there's the block up top from Barrett Polhemus in the number 79. We're going to see if that pays off, but now the momentum up through the middle, the number 9 of Joe Heel. He leads the field off into turn number 3. 3 distinct lines, down low, in the middle, up top. Pick which one you want to be in and stay there.
I want to be behind that.
Well, you mentioned it. It is a popular super speedway strategy is to hang back from this, because look at how busy it is.
And of course, we talked about if the third car is bumping the second, bumping the first car, it can be pretty unstable then.
Can be extremely unstable, and you don't see too many separate draft packs as there was a little bit of moment of that instability on the straightaway here. The number 9 car starting to look a little bit wandering back and forth between the lines here. I wonder if he's having a little bit of that instability. He's one of the cars that did not come in, and he's on older tires. Oh, big wreck. Huge wreck. Huge wreck through the tri-oval there. I believe that was the number 9 that we were just mentioning, Joe Heel. I think he just drifted up the racetrack just a tiny bit here. Seb, walk us through this one as it goes down.
Yeah, we have the 3 wide all the time. Even got a little bit comfortable with that. But then, yeah, he moves a little bit up. There's a slight contact ending in a big result. Yeah, and the front runners are collecting all the other cars in the back. But some, yeah, maybe went into a spin, but could, yeah, have no damage attached to their cars by that.
Yeah, and, you know, to really take a look at exactly what happened, if we want to, you'd have to ride on board with Joe Heel, the number 9, and it was such a tense moment there, you know, 3 wide for multiple laps, and I always think that the tri-oval is probably the biggest danger area on the racetrack because everybody forgets the tri-oval, it's not banked as steeply as the rest of the racetrack, so you go in there and the car tends to wander a little bit more, and I just think that the number 9 maybe came down and was side drafting a little bit aggressive on that bottom lane, or maybe the bottom lane just wandered up a little bit, but ultimately the wreck started down low, went up top, and collected pretty much everywhere from there.
Yeah, that's true, and yeah, there's nobody doing, yeah, going super risky in that, but yeah, as we said so many times, just a little notch, and there you have it. And if we think about all what is at stake here with the big money prizes, yeah, that's a tearjerker.
Only one fast repair available for the racers. Now, Daytona does have very long pace laps, and I always say pace laps, these are yellow flag laps, so if you do have some damage on the race car, they can come down and get it fixed, but this is an interesting strategy call here, Seb, because I mentioned that the cars can go 35 laps. We've heard rumors that they can go 40 laps. Now, if you want to be a gambling man, it's about 45 laps from here to the checkered flag, and we're under yellow flag conditions. This might be a time to fill it on up and maybe cross your fingers for some more yellow flag.
Yeah, maybe 1 yellow flag can be enough. Potentially. 2 would be safe, I guess. And yeah, be in a draft, save fuel, could work out big time in the end.
Well, if you want to win $300, go sign up right now for the next Rolling Thunder Money Race. You got the link right there to the Discord, $20 entry fee, and it is the same prize pool payout as what we are racing here tonight. $300 to the winner, $150 to second, $100 to third place there. That's your podium, but if you place anywhere inside that top 10, you will take home some cash. So if you like the Gen 4 cars, you like a good oval league, go join up with the Rolling Thunder Racing Series and come get in on the action and potentially take home some cash. Well, still got yellow flag on the racetrack right now. Working lap number 39 of 85 on the racetrack. And Seb, we mentioned you don't have a whole ton of oval experience. What have you thought of Daytona and these cars so far?
Yeah, it seems to be great fun. I mean, of course, in other cars you can be more easy in the bump draft. But in the end, it comes down to skill here, and in the end, it's coming down to, yeah, a car which isn't present in the reality anymore. So why not do it in the sim racing then, and have this opportunity alone to have fun with these cars is for, I think, oval enthusiasts way enough to have a nice evening.
It's a beautiful evening out here. The sun is setting, and I think the best way to describe some of the super speedway racing for those of you who aren't as familiar, I think it's a little bit more like a chess game. You think of qualifying lap, you go out there and you grip the wheel and you try to wring the neck of the race car, and that's what you do when you go racing, right? Well, here on the super speedways, it's a little bit more of the organization, reading what's going on. How do you plan your next move in the slipstream? How do you advance without falling back through there? So if you like maybe a little bit more of a mental style of race, you might actually really like super speedway racing. And then once all of that strategy that you've played, all of this, let's call it 80 laps in an 85 lap race, it just turns into pure aggression at the end, and that's when you really get to grip the wheel tight and do the familiar racing that you know so well. So, Seb, I think that if you're a cerebral racer, I think super speedway racing can actually turn you on quite a bit.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you said it. It's a chess game of racing, and yeah, be organized, have a strategy. Some people would say, yeah, I go always just left turns, and yeah, it's a super speedway, I go full on the throttle, but that's not the truth. That's simplifying it, what it is. So as we going green again, yeah, be patient in the right moment and not check up too hard.
Perfectly said. As we get the green flag here, I believe I saw the number 93 of Tommy Janikowski struggle to get up through the gears. You do have to go up through the 4-speed transmissions in these cars. They are not the sequential gearboxes that you see in the brand new cars. And a lot of times these competitors, they'll take it true to heart and actually run the clutch pedal and the H-pattern shifter, which just adds that little bit of realism to it as we watch Michael Larch out front, Dean Gagliano, the car right behind, and Anthony Green in the 86 lined up as the caboose in the train.
And do I see correct that Gagliano still has a little bit damage on the front?
Yes, you're right. It does look, and we've got another yellow flag on the racetrack. I believe this is Randall Nichols, and also the number 24, Billy Rickett, is involved in this one. See exactly what happened. This is an interesting one here. I believe this is two separate cars that were involved in this. Let's watch Randall Nichols set the white, red, and black car on screen.
What is he doing? Oh, no, yeah. That's pretty unfortunate. He checked up not perfectly, but it was okay. But that got the hit from behind.
And there you see the number 24, and he just spun by himself. You know, no big deal on this one. I think he just saw the cars in front of him, and can be difficult to get everything slowed down at times. And I think that's just all that happened to Billy Rickett in the number 24 back there. Well,
yeah, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I just remembered, like, driving the redacted car 500 and then going into the pits under green and then breaking even that car down, the open wheeler in Indianapolis. Yeah, and breaking these cars in the corner with a incident in front. Yeah, super tricky.
And the reason because of that is these cars, they're specifically super speedway cars, so they have little itty-bitty brakes. As we get Michael Larch, I believe Dean Gagliano, and the rest of the field, you see a few of the drivers stay out on the racetrack, but I believe that this is officially the open strategy window. You come down here, and it's going to be tight to make it to the end, but I think it will be possible. And back to our point that I was talking about, because I'm so ADD over here, Seb. They have little tiny brakes on these super speedway cars, so they don't stop very efficiently, do they? And not only that, but a lot of times they got a ton of rear brake bias in them to help with the handling of the car, because the stopping isn't the priority.
Yeah, of course it isn't. And so everyone, I think, is happy to go into the pits in caution, because breaking the car at pit entry must be like, yeah, driving on eggshells.
And you're right, we have not seen a green flag pit stop, and I think the drivers are probably pretty happy about that one, not having to hit that brake marker out there. And let's see here, it looks like we've still got the lights on the pace car. We are officially coming up on halfway through. What we're gonna do, take a quick break, be right back with the official restart, and hopefully some more green flag racing of the Speed Designs 212 here on GSRC.
He's got a lot of speed, but he's boxed up. Can he find an opening? No, he's going to have to push his way through.
Now he's going to go for that big run again.
3 wide going into turns.
High line, right off the corner.
Oh, man.
He's up to 4th place already.
They're still going to be side by side.
And he's going to have to back out. Oh, he gets help. He gets turned around in a big moment.
Good evening now from the virtual Daytona Beach. There's just a little bit of sherbert still in the sky, but Seb, the lights are on. We've officially transitioned over to nighttime.
Yeah, finally a night race here with us in Daytona. Yeah, what is different now? I think especially at the temperatures are going down now again. It may affect the one or another driver here with maybe they took the second set of tires in this caution, so fresh tires, cold track could be a thing of beauty for one or another. Also like to feel this mix down again, and yeah, for example, Mr. Eberhard in P7 now started from the back.
Yeah, not only that, but our leader, Anthony Green, he's moved up 17 spots. And to continue this trend here, we have a few big movers in the field, and I know we're only about halfway through as of right now. But Anthony Green, up 17, currently leading the race. Jordan Peck, up 21, inside the top 5. Travis Noble, up 15. He's also inside the top 5. Like you were just mentioning, Daniel Eberhardt, he is in 7th, up 20 positions. So these are some of the drivers that either didn't qualify or maybe qualified poorly, but are racing very well at the front.
Yeah, and on the other hand, I think Randall Nichols was it who pitted on the second caution. Yeah, didn't play out for him up to now, but we are going green again.
Barney waves the green flag one more time. We officially have flash photography coming from the stands here at Daytona International Speedway. I already see that white number 90 pull out down low. That is Daniel Eberhardt. That is one of the cars that we were talking about. Keep an eye on him as things get up to speed. And I'm sorry, but yellow flag is already waving on the racetrack.
I am not sure, but at the restart there was a car in the infield at the back, at the way back. Maybe, I don't know if that is an issue, but as we have admin controlled yellows, I don't know if that was the case for that.
I have officially, I've found the issue. It's not worth going back and taking a look at. Unfortunately, we are under a yellow flag because of it, but I can say it was Jason Tamer getting into the back of Joshua Suss on the restart, and it was right when the green flag came out. And you as well as I know, we get this a lot in road racing, Seb, is that the accordion effect on a green flag is where The back of the field tries to maybe get a little bit of a jump in acceleration, and the front cars aren't quite going yet.
Yeah, and also this is what I like about the new, I don't know how old it is, 2 seasons. The iRacing start with the limiter window and stuff like that. Like going a certain speed. I wish we had that also in road racing by now, because what you said, and everyone is trying to get a benefit at the start, but which causes mostly like people, crashing. And this is, super unfortunate here, of course.
Definitely unfortunate. Like I said, it's a common thing. There's literally the name, the accordion effect for it. So unfortunately, we will get back to green flag racing out here and get that pace truck off of the racetrack. Well, are you passionate about iRacing and an enthusiast seeking the perfect blend of fun and competition? Well, look no further. The Rolling Thunder Racing Series invites you to be part of a dynamic and competitive Gen 4 Series League set to kick off Sunday, October 1st. Ready to secure your spot on the starting grid? Well, join the league Discord for all of the action-packed details and registration information. You see the graphic here on the screen. Go follow those links. Go to that website. Go to the Discord. Get signed up. $1,000 to the championship winner in that one. Seb, what would you do if you won $1,000 from sim racing?
Yeah, I would go totally Dr. Evil with $1,000, but not buying Barracudas, buying me some nice, equipment, or setting up more years in iRacing, because what is better than spend your nights, except with the misses, for the evening with iRacing or with the Rolling Thunder Racing Series.
You're telling me you don't want sharks with laser beams on their heads?
I don't know. Can I get them for $1,000?
I don't think so, but I loved the Dr. Evil reference. You know, one of my favorite GIFs out there. You guys can fight me if it's GIF or GIF. I think GIF is peanut butter. But is Austin Powers stuck in the tunnel in his Taylor Dunn doing his U-turn. Just makes me laugh every single time out there. And still got yellow flag here on the racetrack. Little bit of filler for you guys. The lights are on. It is Anthony Green, still our leader. Going to be coming up to 38 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line this time. We'll go ahead and read out the top 10 as they come across here. I mentioned it is Anthony Green, your leader in the 86. Then we have the number 93, that is Tommy Janikowski in second. Brenton Barker is your third place position. Jordan Peck fourth. Travis Noble fifth. Billy Rickett is sixth. Michael Miller seventh. Trevor Williams in his number 1 car is eighth. Denver Lee Turgeson in ninth, and Jared Haynes in 10th place position. And looks like we do have the lights off this time, Seb. Pull out that crystal ball. Are we going to get some green flag racing?
I hope so this time, that everyone is patient enough and careful enough to make this a good start and race for maybe the end, which could be very, very tricky for the one or another driver with their fuel.
The fuel game is always a question. Now, looking at the data, right, our leader, he last pitted 9 laps ago, and with how much yellow we've had, I think that he's right on the edge. Now, if we go back to Trevor Williams in 8th place, he's the number 1 car. Trevor is the first car that I think is officially good. Now, 8th place on down is on the same pit stop strategy, if not more fuel. So I think from Trevor Williams on down is okay. Everybody in front of him, I think, should be okay, but I don't know. We're about to find out.
And still, incident points can come into play. I mean, we have no big overview about them, but it's pretty sure many cars have catched 1 or 2 4 axes by now.
Absolutely. That's a great point that I wasn't even thinking about, is that you can simply disappear off the racetrack from having too many incident points if you rack them up. And you see Barney, he's waving the green flag. It's just a shade darker here at Daytona. The temps are coming down. The green flag is waving. Anthony Green is leading this field as everybody shifts up through the gears to get up to speed. I'm already seeing that number 1 car of Trevor Williams down on the bottom line, making up positions.
And looking pretty good for him. Also because like he has friends down there. And now we have 2 lanes again. Oh no. Oh no.
Huge wreck down the back straightaway, and I'm surprised this is the first time we've seen it on the outlap, I'm going to call it. It is an accordion effect under green flag conditions, and these cars, they take a while to get up to their top speed. So when they're going down the back straightaway, they actually have a pretty big condensing accordion effect right here, as you're going to see.
Yeah, and he's tilting him up and then, yeah, slows down the lane, and yeah, the rest is history.
Unfortunately, the number 3, that's Brenton Barker, involved in that one. I saw Trevor Williams also involved, and a few of the big names definitely a little bit further up that were good on strategy involved in this one. And unfortunately, since we are under a yellow flag, we're going to take one more break, be right back with any pit stop cycles and green flag racing with our restart.
He's got a lot of speed, but he's boxed up. Can he find an opening? No, he's going to have to push his way through.
Now he's going to go for that big run again.
3 wide going into turns.
High line, right off the corner.
Oh, man.
He's up to 4th place already.
They're still going to be side by side.
And he's going to have to back out. Oh, he gets help. He gets turned around in a big moment.
It is a flurry of activity down here on pit road. Looks a bit like the Costco parking lot that I was at over the weekend here, with everybody trying to find their spot in line. And I think the pit stop strategy, I mentioned it, 35 laps guaranteed these cars can make. And so I think that the crew chiefs have radioed the drivers and said, for sure, we're good for here to the end. Let's fill it on up. Everybody cycles out here, and Seb, I mentioned the pit stop strategy window. Yep. Everybody's good here. 2 cars stayed out on the racetrack, Brenton Barker and Tommy Janikowski.
As far as I remember, they can also maybe go to the end. Now I have the better track position. Yeah, I don't know.
Everything you just said was spot on correct, with the one exception. Okay, I'm going to argue just a little bit here. Tommy Janikowski, I think, is questionable on fuel because he's got 25 laps on his current stint. We've had a lot of yellow, but he's got to be under massive fuel save if he wants to make it.
So he would be 10 laps short. Yeah, that's much.
Brenton Barker, on the other hand, though, our race leader, he's got 12 laps on his stint, and as we just mentioned, there's been a ton of yellow flags. So I think the number 3, even though he's questionable, I think he's on the good side of questionable, but trust me, race car drivers, they prove me wrong all the time. Well, I mentioned Brenton Barker here was our leader, is our leader. We've officially got the lights out on the safety car. We started with 30 cars here on Daytona. Unfortunately, we have narrowed it down to 25, lost about a handful of competitors, but even then, from what I'm seeing here, of the 25 cars, the majority of them are actually on the lead lap. All of them are on the lead lap, actually.
At least that. And this time maybe it will work.
I've got all of my fingers and toes crossed over here. As the field goes down the back straightaway, going to be coming to 33 laps to go, as we will get the green flag this time by from the pace truck. Tommy Janikowski, am I seeing this right here? It looks like Tommy Janikowski is now the leader. So I missed this, but Brenton Barker has been shuffled back. Actually, I'm seeing this on race control here. Brenton Barker, the number 3, was given an EOL, end of line penalty for the number 3. So talk about throwing that strategy out of the window.
Huh. Interesting.
Race control is always watching. Trust me, they are the eye in the sky out there. And, you know, I'm not sure if maybe Brenton asked for an EOL to be back there to save fuel or not, or if he did something naughty on the racetrack. Either way, given that EOL penalty. And so it'll be Tommy Janikowski on the old 26-lap tires, rolling up through the gears. You see cars already dive out down low to try to get them rolling as we are green flag here at Daytona. Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to cut the soundtrack short for you guys. We are unfortunately under yellow flag again. We see Ryan Perrone coming back out onto the racetrack. I also see Bobby Forbes potentially involved in this one. Have to go back and take a closer look at exactly what happened, but this is going to be another restart here coming down through the tri-oval. You see the yellow and blue car, as well as the white and red. It actually looks like maybe it was just a car coming down the racetrack, didn't realize that Bobby Forbes was underneath them, and both of them spinning down onto the apron of the racetrack.
And maybe a clear too early, and then it happened, but there was also already a slight contact, maybe net code and wiggle before they contacted each other.
Well, I wish the field had watched a little bit more Price is Right growing up, because the yellows...
Instead of Days of Thunder.
Well, and you know, I want to give a shout out here to Billy Rickett, because if I'm remembering correctly, in Days of Thunder, it's Billy Prickett, if I'm remembering rightly. And so Billy Rickett, every time I see this name, it just... Days of Thunder calls to me whenever I see that name, so always good to see out there. But unfortunately, we are a little yellow flag filled here at Daytona, but Seb, that just means they get to listen to us.
Yeah, that's right. And in the end, I mean, the trouble for one guy is the benefit for the other guy. And we talked about it, there's so much money on the line. It's not a lottery. I mean, you have to do something to earn the money. And in the end, if someone falls out of the line, crashes, yeah, it's good for another driver here who is consistent, who drives safe, and has his car in the right spot at the right time.
Incident limits are going to become a very real thing here on this race. We saw multiple cars already in trouble, and I actually just saw the number 5, Bobby Forbes, slide into his pit box. And I don't know if Ryan wants to show a replay of this, because we were talking about this earlier. Now, we haven't seen this too much. The brakes on these things, they're super speedway brakes. They're not really meant to stop the car per se, but they're meant to really kind of help the car. And unfortunately, the number 5, when he got onto the brakes to stop his car into the pit box, he just kind of turned 90 degrees and all of a sudden was kind of perpendicular on pit lane.
Yeah, I mean 180 would be still manageable, but 90 degrees, of course, is always very, very bad then. And I can imagine turning the car around then, yeah, also super tricky.
Okay, so I have been corrected over here. Billy Rickett, I apologize. You are not a Days of Thunder reference. You are a Dukes of Hazzard reference. And if you all remember the remake of Dukes of Hazzard, Billy Prickett was the character of the professional racing driver that came in. He was the hot shot from Hazard County, and he came back and everybody was fawning over Billy Prickett. So maybe Billy Rickett is going to channel his inner Billy Prickett and try to go home, or I shouldn't say go home, but try to collect a checkered flag here today at Daytona. 31 laps remaining still here on the racetrack. The lights are still on the pace truck, which means one more lap before we get our green flag racing. And just as I say that, they do click off and pull out that crystal ball. I don't want you to read the crystal ball this time, Seb. I want you to tell the crystal ball that we need green flag racing.
Yeah, that's true. More green flag racing, more action on the track and not behind the pace car.
Oh, they are lined up, and every single car on the racetrack is on the lead lap. That means our leader, Tommy Janikowski, all the way down to 25th place, Jordan Peck in the number 48. They are fighting for that top 10, that cash that is going to be given out at the end of tonight. And for those of you who have just joined us, $300 going to be given away tonight for the winner. Then $150 for second place, $100 for third place. So some serious money on the line. It doesn't stop there. Cash payouts 1st through 10th here at the Rolling Thunder Money Race. Can't wait to see who takes home the majority share. Right now is Tommy Janikowski, but honestly, I'd be a little bit worried. 30 laps on his current fuel stint. Everybody else behind him totally ready to rock. You think he's going to get eaten up, Seb?
Yeah, I think so too. Because like the cars behind have the benefit of the draft and yeah, can push all out now.
Oh, and we're getting action under the yellow flag condition. I believe it is the number 3 Brenton Barker and Darwin Hansen going at it, coming into turn number 3 there. Wasn't sure what that was about. But right now, Tommy Janikowski looks up. He sees the green flag from Barney the flagman, and we are under yellow flag one more time. That was some quick flag work from Barney right there.
I love that. I do marshal at the Nürburgring, at the Nordschleife, and that was very professional acting here by Barney.
Give us the breakdown, Seb. Please do. How did you? Was it a nice transition between each flag? Was it the handover? What was it?
Yeah, maybe it's part of the simulation that just the color of the flag changes. I don't know, but he was super fast.
It was like he had the quiver of flags right there and just immediately had the right one in hand, ready to go.
Yeah, Barney is a magician.
Regular old Houdini out there, and unfortunately, do you have yellow flag on the racetrack? I'm not sure if this is going to be another full course yellow safety period. I see on the screen that it was just extended by 1 lap, but now it does look like it is under another full-time yellow flag. So we'll just have to kind of see what Race Control is going to decide to do here. Now, I know they can speed up this yellow process. Not really sure how they're going to do it, but just have to wait and see. And now you've done plenty of sim racing. How would you feel if you were one of these drivers right now and the race just can't get going? What kind of mindset does that put you in?
Yeah, mostly me. I'm getting sarcastic, you know. Also helps me to calm down and relieve the stress about the situation. Because if you pump yourself up to get racing again, and then something like that happens, yeah, it's always a downer. Yeah, so yeah, my strategy is get sarcastic about it, get it out of the system, detoxicate that, and then go racing again.
Well, if you want to get sarcastic about it, you know, these Fig Newtons are delicious. The sticker is dangerous, but I do love Fig Newtons, and that is a Ricky Bobby reference for everybody out there. And looks like Race Control is paying attention to everything. They've got the lights out for us, and that means we should get back going. Green flag this time, Seb.
Yeah, let's say it again. Hope so. So, Barney really working overtime here. So, hopefully now the green flag till the end.
Well, and I did see that Jason Tamer, unfortunately, in the number 81 car, he does have a DNF. So we are down to 24 cars. Started with 30. Now we're down to 24, and they are all on the lead lap. That means anybody is still eligible to take home part of that $800, nearly $800 in prize pool that is going to be given out here tonight. 27 laps to go is what's going to happen as we get the green flag, and that's a pretty good chunk of a green flag run here. We've had a little bit filled with cautions. We're about to see if we actually get some revs and some RPMs on the racetrack here.
Yeah, maybe it's this time it's the time to crank up the sound.
I think that's exactly what we should do. We've talked about these cars being in happy accident, kind of like an ARCA car with the big screaming V8 Cup car motor in it. Tons of revs, over 700 horsepower. I think it's a perfect opportunity to go ahead, ride on board with several of the different competitors as the pace truck pulls off the racetrack. Barney, the flagman, already has the green flag in hand. Let's listen to the sound of these engines as we are racing one more time. Some American horsepower around the high banks of Daytona. And keep your eye on that blue number 2. Michael Larch has just rocketed up through the field on that first green flag lap. He's got help in the form of Matthew Dula, as well as the 27 of Dylan Jones. I mean, these three cars just drove through the entire field and are now lined up on the outside.
And they are again so close together, and there's some wiggle in the side draft, but this time it runs smoothly. Oh, and there was, coming off from the banking, this twitchy situation here with the rear end.
And that is Bo Tiffany down low in the number 35. That's the black car leading the bottom lane. He has help from Denver Lee Turgeson in the purple and black number 44. Those are the two cars lined up down low. Then comes the number 24 of Billy Rickett, channeling his best Dukes of Hazzard back there on the low lane. Those are your three cars on the bottom. Like I mentioned, Larch, Dula, and Jones are the ones lined up top. But I mean, look at this. It doesn't stop. It's 2 by 2 for 5 rows here throughout the entire top 10.
And now you can feel it. Like the people are driving for the win, driving for the positions in the top 10 to get their money's worth out of the race. And yeah, maybe it's time for the bigger elbows tonight.
Hopefully the elbows don't come out until a little bit later. I want to see maybe 3 laps to go before we see any big-time aggressive moves. We've had enough yellow flags on the racetrack, and when we are green, this is fantastic racing. Look at how close the entire pack is, and to give everybody an idea of the speeds, I'm seeing 200 miles an hour through the trioval.
Yeah, so finally it reached the 200 miles per hour mark. I remember in the beginning we have 199, and yeah, in the draft there's much possible, and I think we don't have to wait so long until the 3 wide is happening again.
No, you're right, because look at this, the number 12, Jason Maines, as well as Daniel Eberhardt. They're trying to make it now. Oh, the 12 gets squeezed up into the wall. You saw Eberhardt, he actually read that, and I don't think that the 90 actually got into the wall himself, but great heads-up driving from Eberhardt. I just think that he might have checked up too much. He's got to be careful. If you lose the draft here, you can be in big trouble.
Yes, of course, he slowed down much, but in a safe way, and also slotted back in without, impeding somebody behind him.
He did a great job to avoid the wreck, just unfortunately now in a bad situation way back there, pushing a wounded car of Jason Maines as we watch the entire top 8 on one clip here. Bo Tiffany has moved up to the top lane, so it's now Turgeson down low, Tiffany up top, and things have just kind of shuffled back a little bit from there, but even riding on board with Anthony Green, look at how tight these cars are running front to tail.
They all know that what is on the line and what happened before in the race, and maybe even checking their incident count. So yeah, it's the climax is arriving here in this race.
203, 204 from Turgeson down the back straightaway here at Daytona. So once the lights have turned on, the temperatures have come down, and they haven't come down that much. I'm actually checking on them right now. Just down 1 degree to 69 ambient, but down 2 degrees on the track temperature. And Seb, maybe you can kind of relate that a little bit. Usually when you have the cooler conditions, the cars become more stable and the drivers actually become more aggressive because they're comfortable.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. You put those two things together. The car gets more stable, the drivers get more aggressive, and yeah, that of course produces also again mistakes or overdriving the car on the tires. So yeah, but it's for the win. It's for winning this race tonight. It's for the cars a little bit more back. It's to get their cars now in a perfect position, and yeah, check all what you got, check all what you need to check, and then go to race to the finish line.
Going to be about the strategy of who can kind of work their way up through this drafting pile. And you mentioned it earlier, we will see more 3 wide action as the laps count down. 19 laps to go. I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more aggression come out. I'd probably say about 5 laps to go. I think we might see some noses being poked about 7 laps to go. But even then, I think that 5 laps to go is just way too early to show your hand here at Daytona. I think that if you honestly want to win this race, you can't show your hand until the last lap.
Yeah, that's true. The last lap, of course, is crucial, and we have Janikowski in the pits.
Unfortunately, that's the number 93. You're right, Tommy Janikowski. He was the leader when we went back to the green flag action, but unfortunately, I mentioned how far down he was on fuel, way off strategy, and I think that he finally had to come down and fill up that tank as we continue to get the pictures of our lead group. About 7 or 8 cars here in the front pack, and then about a 10-car length gap back there to the majority of the rest of the field here behind Dula.
And that's the point. If you can separate now, you're safe for the end and just have to worry about the few competitors around you. And I think, yeah, if you're in the top 8, you get your investment at least out of the race.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good way to look at it. You know, 8th place, it'll pay $20, and it is a $20 entry fee. So yeah, you're going to come out breaking even out there. And I mentioned it was going to be about 5 laps to go before we start seeing 3 wide. Well, race car drivers, they prove me wrong all the time. The 27, he went 3 wide going over through turns 3 and 4 that time. So keep your eye on Dylan Jones. He's another one of these cars that started at the back without a qualifying effort, and one of the more aggressive drivers on the racetrack. You see him here making it 3 wide here, but doesn't have the momentum. He doesn't have a friend to help go and push him to complete that pass.
Yeah, right, but he's in P9. He wants to go into the top 8. And he's struggling for that. Going way over 200 miles per hour in the draft here. Yeah, but needs to be careful about the checkup. I mean, if we have seen it when 3 cars come together in a row.
Gotta be careful about the bump draft, and it is just kind of like a mixing pot, a cauldron, if you will, since we're coming up on Halloween time. And when do you add one too many ingredients, and when does it boil over in a puff of smoke? And hopefully it doesn't end in tears on the racetrack. And somebody who's been very sneaky, I didn't even see this happen, but Trevor Williams, very sneaky. He's made his way all the way up front to the lead.
Oh wow, he's back in the lead where he was before. And yeah, maybe it is the right time to switch into the leading position. But as you can see, of course, the draft is super intense and they are all back together again. So nothing with breakaway with the top 8. The pack is closing back again.
And Turgeson in that purple and gray car decided to go up to that top lane. Turgeson is being pushed by Bo Tiffany. That's the 44 and the 35. They're teamed up top. Then we have Trevor Williams being pushed by Billy Rickett in the number 24 down low. And then we ride on board a little bit further back. This is Dylan Jones. He's really trying to work both lanes. You see him trying to get up through the sucker hole, through the middle there, try to make it 3 wide, but it's just kind of these lanes that kind of go back and forth from the top lane to the middle lane, and you have to be really, really careful where you put your nose, especially going into these corners.
Yeah, and if you go into the middle and the car behind maybe doesn't quite see you on the right side and tries to get back into the draft, yeah, it can be too narrow then at the exit of the corner.
We just had some contact up top between Turgeson and Williams. I think I saw Turgeson really with an aggressive side draft going down the back straightaway. And here comes Billy Rickett. He's now going to jump to the outside. He's actually going to lead that lap. So the number 24, he says, you know what? I don't want to be pushing. I want to have the clean air out front. That's my best chance of taking home the cash.
Yeah, clean air always feels good up in front. Don't have to worry about, bump drafting someone in front of you. But in the end, with 12 laps to go, yeah, it's the chess of the road.
Now, this is the first time we've been seeing the leader play both lines. We're going to see, does Billy move up to that top line to block the 44? Going to stay down low through the tri-oval. I think that's the right way to go, but this is kind of the question time. Now the 44 is going to get to his quarter panel. Don't move up too soon, because here in 1 and 2, the lower lane around that yellow painted line is going to pay dividends. But we're going to see, does the 24 move up the racetrack going down the back straightaway? No, he decides to stay committed. He says, Trevor Williams in that number 1, you're going to push me.
And with that, not enough. I mean, with Rickett in the lead, and now Williams back to P3, he won't give up that chance to catch the $300 right now, and we have a 3 wide.
The 27 of Dylan Jones makes it 3 wide, and Michael Lark says, you know what? You can go up there. I'm going to take your position right here, and I think that's actually going to slide Dylan Jones back. So we just saw aggression, try to make it 3 wide, try to make up that spot, but instead of moving forward, Michael Larch, the number 2, he just simply filled the gap.
That's a strategy where it comes down to read the situation and go for the gap if you need to.
Coming off of turn 4 through the tri-oval, 9 laps to go. We are in the single digits here at Daytona, working lap number 77 of 85 right now, and off into turn number 1. The field led by the 24 of Billy Rickett. Down low, it's Turgeson in that gray and purple car, and we've got another yellow flag on the racetrack. I believe maybe Ryan Perrone might be involved in this one. Also see Jordan Peck involved. I think that this was actually after the fact, though.
Yeah, let's wait for confirmation there, but I'm happy we had so many green laps until now with 9 laps to go. So that's a good thing about it. And what do we have here?
And it was the 48 car, Jordan Peck, and you see the other cars, Ryan Perrone, come in getting collected at the end. But watch the blue and green car here. I believe has some contact with the 28, and you're going to see the 28 disappear. That's that incident limit you've mentioned so many times, Seb.
Yeah, he got the tunnel snap, but still there was contact. Even when he vanished from the server, there was still contact made with the car behind.
Well, that means yellow flag, 8 laps to go currently. That means we're going to be lining up to go green with about a handful of laps. Everybody is good on fuel. I don't expect anyone to come down pit lane. What we're going to do is take one last break, be right back with the checkered flag and your winners of the Speed Designs 212 Rolling Thunder Money Race.
He's got a lot of speed, but he's boxed up. Can he find an opening? No, he's going to have to push his way through.
Now he's going to go for that big run again.
3 wide going into turns.
High line, right off the corner.
Oh, man.
He's up to 4th place already.
They're still going to be side by side.
And he's going to have to back out. Oh, he gets help. He gets turned around in a big moment.
Not just the league does Rolling Thunder Racing Series have, but they also have another special event just coming up here shortly at Talladega, October 5th. Go to that same Discord, sign up, $20 entry fee. It's going to pretty much be a mirror of what you saw here tonight at Daytona. 85 laps, $300 to the winner, but if you place inside of the top 10, you will be taking home some of that prize pool cash. Rolling Thunder Money Series. They are putting on some really, really fun stuff here on iRacing, and I have just been thrilled to be a part of it here with GSRC. It's been a ton of fun to watch the racing, and Seb, I think that you can agree. I know that Daytona and the oval stuff you're relatively new here with, but when we've had the green flag, it has been fantastic racing.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And with 7 laps to go now, maybe I think we start with 6 or 5, but doesn't matter. The point I want to make is we have the rule that just one green-white checkered will be happening if something occurs again. And so this is now really down to the last couple of laps, the last hooray for taking the money and winning the race.
It's a good point. If you bring out the strategy notebook here, we still got the lights on. We'll see if the pace truck turns them off this time. Looks like they do go off this time, so we're going to be going back green flag racing with 5 laps to go here at Daytona. Now, if we have a quick yellow, we won't burn that 1 GWC quite yet. However, if we have, I would say, 2 laps of green flag racing and then a yellow, we will get into that overtime period that you were just mentioning.
I don't think that anyone will be affected by that by fuel. I mean, it's funny for the spectator if something like that curious thing happens. But yeah, everyone is good on fuel. Everyone is ready to race till the end, and yeah, do whatever he can to secure his position.
Now, if I've learned anything from Hazard County and Billy Prickett, is that he is a greedy race car driver and he is there to win and take home the cash at all times. Now, does Billy Rickett mirror Billy Prickett out there? We are about to find out. He is currently our leader, the number 24 in that black and blue Pepsi machine with the day glow yellow highlights. So keep your eye on that 24. Let's bring out some fan favorites here. Let's bring out the commentator's pick. Seb, 5 laps to go. Who's your pick to win this one?
I pick P3. That's Williams.
I think that is a fantastic pick right there. I'm going to go with the number 2, Michael Larch. He was our pole sitter. He's been shuffled around quite a bit, but he's managed to stay up at the front the entire time, and somebody else to keep an eye on if you're watching at home. The number 27, starting back there in 7th place, Dylan Jones. He's been very aggressive, so keep an eye on all of the drivers as Billy Rickett sees Barney the flag man. He's got the green flag, and we are already racing here at Daytona International Speedway, hopefully closing out the speed designs. 212 under green flag racing. It's Billy Rickett leading over Turgeson as they go off into turn number 1. Trevor Williams now edging out Turgeson down low. He says, no, you're not going to get down onto this yellow lane.
And there was a slight contact already again right after Barney. So maybe there was the cause of this little shuffle there. And yeah, it looks like Rickett is under pressure now, of course.
That is Turgeson up top. So the leaders of each lane, it is Billy Rickett down low, Denver Lee Turgeson in the gray and purple car up top. But look at the 27. That is Dylan Jones. He started back there in 7th. He's already worked his way up into the 3rd place position. He's the tied car, that orange and white number 27. He is very aggressive, and he continues to push Turgeson off into turn number 2. Oh, we got problems.
Yeah, big problems. Again, with 4 laps to go. I think it comes into play what you said.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how this one plays out because we do have a yellow flag. Get a GSRC replay here of exactly what goes down. And I'm not sure if you caught this one, Seb. I believe it was the number 20 getting involved, coming up out at turn number 2. No, I'm sorry. It was the number 89. That was Jake Collins.
Yeah, but the 20 gets collected by the traffic from behind. But nice catch in the end. Has some damage, but still on the road. And nobody vanished.
Right on board with Bobby Forbes. You see how quick it happens here. Multiple cars coming in contact, and then almost coming in contact again. And I mean, that was the perfect onboard to just show how quickly this stuff can happen to you.
Yeah, maybe from the outside perspective, you say like, yeah, you can go up the road and evade this situation, but no, you can't. At that speed, with that tiny brakes you mentioned, super difficult to react in time. I mean, the reaction time of a focused human professional driver is about 0.2 to 0.3 to a situation ahead, and yeah, it's super close then.
Just have to be able to read pretty much what's going on. That was one thing that I loved when I was still cool. I don't think that I'm very cool anymore, even though that, you know, maybe my dogs think I'm pretty cool. But when I got to drive a bunch of race cars, it was always fun to read the competition, kind of see what was coming up. And trust me, the cars move around a ton when you're out there racing, and you kind of get an idea of who's on edge, who's sliding the car around a little bit more, and kind of predict those situations. But here in the sim, Seb, it's actually pretty difficult because you don't always have that feel of an actual race car. You have to do it all based off of visual and sound.
Yeah, of course. One thing iRacing is providing is the sound by the tires. So I know many sim racing drivers in the road section are making the tires louder, the tire sound effect, to hear the grip level a little bit better, because of course you can't feel it. I mean, there are motion rigs and stuff, but yeah, I don't think it's still the real feedback you would get from a real race car.
It's funny you mention that, because it's exactly what I do. My career was based off of feel. You know, I really proud myself in setup of a car and how the car drove and what it needed. And then when you hop into the sim, it's gone. I don't feel anything. Sure, you've got the direct drive and the force feedback of the steering wheel, but the actual feel of the race car, what's going on underneath you, is completely gone. So I'll go in there and I'll crank up all the audio on the engine, the curbs, the tires, all of it, because that is now all of my reference. Instead of the reference being the feel, it's audio. And you're 100% right that it's kind of a different way to drive, but that's how I have to drive in the sim.
Yeah, totally understandable. I mean, if iRacing gives you these tools to compensate for, maybe it's less immersion, but iRacing helps you at that point. So why not take it?
I'm going to be a typical ego-maniac race car driver here, though, and say I've lost my feel. I don't know what to do anymore, and it's just not the same. And that, honestly, is where the frustration level, I think, kicks in, is that you're used to having it one way, and now you go into the virtual world, and it is the same thing, but you're kind of having to relearn it. It is a digital version versus the real thing.
Yeah, I met Nicolas Latifi in the Skippies, so yeah, I can comment.
Well, we officially have the lights off here on the pace truck. It is the leader, Denver Lee Turgeson, this time in the gray and purple number 44. He leads Billy Rickett in second place. Dylan Jones worked his way all the way up to third on that last green flag run. Trevor Williams, your pick, has found his way up to fourth. Bo Tiffany is your top five. And then my pick, Michael Larch, is sitting back there in sixth place. And we got to settle it right here, right now, Seb. The lights are out. Only the one green-white checkered attempt. Here we go.
Yeah, the one and only, and it would be a large jump from P6 to P1.
It would be. but crazy things happen here at Daytona. We are officially in overtime, folks, so you were right on that strategy call. You better have enough fuel in the tank, and I think that everybody does, judging by their lap count and how much yellow flag we've had. The pace truck says, "See you later," to the field. I am never coming back out here unless I absolutely have to end the race and claim the checker flag myself. Denver Lee Turgeson stands on the gas, up through the gears one more time. Green flag racing. 2 laps to go at Daytona. Billy Rickett already getting really aggressive all the way down on the bottom lane. He's got help from the 27 of Dylan Jones in the form of pushing him.
And we saw how Jones made up positions at the last green flag period. So maybe he's also a contender for the win if he can make his move stick and maybe trick Rickett in the end. 2 laps to go. Who will win the big prize, the $300?
Here comes your pick, Trevor Williams in the number 1 car. He moved to the outside, and he's got the form of Bo Tiffany as well as Michael Larch pushing straight to the front. Look at the momentum from the number 1 car. Does he stick to his teammates, his Bo teammates, if you will, or does he cover off the bottom side of the racetrack? We are 3 wide with Turgeson. Now we've got contact. Larch has spun around. Turgeson's in the wall. It's all going to be up front. Trevor Williams leads them down the back straightaway. We are on the final lap.
Ah, come on, Williams. Maybe I can get a little share of the $300 then.
Williams getting pushed by Bo Tiffany in the 35. It is Billy Rickett down low, but look at the 27. Who does he go and help? And we got more cars spinning. We got more cars wrecking. Who's going to make it through the mess? Who's going to win this $300? It looks to be Michael Miller. The number 11 car, I believe, crosses the start-finish line just ahead of Daniel Eberhardt. $300 goes to the number 11 car. Talk about survival at the end, Seb. Holy smokes.
My God, I just was thinking about the South Park meme, and it's gone. Yeah, super close racing. Then we have this situation with the contact. Super unfortunate, of course, also for Williams. Super fortunate for Miller and also Eberhard, who made his race from the back of the grid to P2 and earning $150 with that move in the end and evading the wrecks. Yeah, what a finish here in the last 2 corners.
Let's listen as Michael Miller burns it down here at Daytona, a winner of $300 at the Speed Designs 212. The grounds crew is not going to be happy after that one having to go and repaint the entire infield. We're going to get a quick look at the replay here. Seb, this entire last lap, I mean, there was multiple cars involved, and ultimately it was the number 11 way back there that snuck his way through, and it all really developed coming off of, well, I should say, coming off of 4.
Yeah, and stuff happening in the back that was not a problem for the front runners, of course. But then here, this contact in the front, yeah, made it all happen. And yeah, again, extremely unfortunate also for Williams, who got collected then by, yeah, that contact. Yeah.
I mean, just, and then, yeah, the 11 and the 90, and I don't blame the 90 at all. We're going to ride with our winner. Let's watch the seas part for Michael Miller.
He's like Moses.
Exactly.
The Red Sea.
Yeah, and then you saw the 90 come up and gave him a giant door hip check, but here in the Rolling Thunder Series, you cannot advance your position under the yellow line, so the 90 was coming back up onto the racing line, and ultimately the finish, 3/100ths of a second Michael Miller edged out Daniel Eberhardt and is our winner. What a finish here on GSRC. We're going to take a quick break. Be right back with the official results and any post-race interviews.
It looks like he's got it.
He's got a lot of speed, but he's boxed up. Can he find an opening? No, he's going to have to push his way through.
Now he's going to go for that big run again.
3 wide going into turns.
High line, right off the corner.
Oh, man.
He's up to 4th place already.
They're still going to be side by side.
And he's going to have to back out. Oh, he gets help. He gets turned around in a big moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
It was Michael Miller, the driver of the number 11 car, taking home the checkered flag, and most importantly, $300 here tonight. Daniel Eberhardt, who didn't put down a qualifying time, went up 25 positions to just miss out by 3/100ths of a second, but fear not, he still takes home $150. Jared Haynes takes home $100 himself in 3rd place, and then Trevor Williams, Seb, that was your pick to win the race, comes home 4th. Anthony Green in 5th. Bo Tiffany 6th. Michael Larch, my pick, comes home 7th. Denver Lee Turgeson in 8th. Jake Collins in 9th. And Billy Rickett rounds out your top 10.
Yeah, John Pack catches P11, Travis Noble in P12. 13th, Randall Nichols. 14th, Dan Jagliano, sorry. 15th, Matthew Dula. 16th, Spencer Brown. 17th, Jason D. Maines. 18th, Brendan Barker. Joshua Suss in 19th. And in 20th place, Dylan C. Jones.
And the last car to take the checkered flag was the number 93 of Tommy Janikowski. Unfortunately, the rest of the names you see here on the screen did not finish the race. However, we do have some that did finish the race, including our winner. Michael Miller has joined us in the commentary booth. Michael, congratulations. You are now $300 richer. Uh-oh, looks like we're grabbing Michael down here, see if we can get him to stay in the interview booth here. And no worries, Michael. How does it feel to win $300?
Well, this is the first, so feeling pretty good.
You gotta talk me through coming off of turn number 4. Did you think that you had a shot at the win, or were you happy back there? And what were you, about 5th or 6th place?
Well, I was having a hard time keeping up. My tires is pretty much wore out every time going in the corner carrying so much speed. I didn't know what was going to happen. I see they were up there jockeying, and I just held my line and luckily dodged that wreck. I don't know how I slid across the finish line without losing it.
I gotta ask you, how did you keep your mindset of going out and winning that checkered flag? When we had that period of a lot of yellows kind of halfway through, what was it like inside the sim rig there to really stay focused?
Well, it started out first thing this morning. I told everybody I'm going to win this race. It's my time. Been thinking about it all day. Did some practice on my forklift at my work. drove for about 5 hours at my forklift job. I can't even talk. Either way, I practiced. I've been ready to win for a long time, and now finally got to the front.
I absolutely love that response. I love the energy. Now, I got to ask you, though, since you're drawing the parallels between the forklift and the Gen 4, doesn't the forklift have rear steer? Does that just get you ready for when they're bump drafting you from behind? What's the strategy there?
Oh, yeah. Whenever I'm on a forklift, I get offered jobs at all kinds of places just from truck drivers backing in and moving things around. I mean, where I work, it's tight fit everywhere you go, so it just fits right in when you're right next to somebody and they start sliding you sideways. You just flick the wheel.
Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. Well, Michael, $300 richer after tonight. And I got to ask you, while we have you here in the commentary booth, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Chris Miller, my dad, everybody who's been out there supporting me. Got a lot of people out there that hopefully were watching tonight. My phone's been ringing off the hook. I've just been sitting in this VR because that's where my mic is, so I can't see my phone. I'm just sitting in a room with the VR on.
Well, go get back to everybody who's contacting you. $300 from the Speed Designs 212 Rolling Thunder Money Race. Michael Miller, your official winner.
All right, thank you. Y'all have a good night. Appreciate it.
Looks like Sebastian has strolled down the virtual pit lane and has caught up with our second place finisher, Daniel Eberhardt.
Yeah, it was a special race, Mr. Eberhardt. Nice to have you here. Starting from the back, piled all the way through with a great strategy, and in the end, catching up to P2, surviving the wreck. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. It was a chaotic race. I don't know. I wasn't the strategy I wanted to play. I didn't expect it to be kind of just a lot of yellows. I didn't want it to be that way, and got lucky there at the end. I don't like being lucky. I'd much rather just be good. And the 11, I didn't want to. I had to come back on the racetrack, and when I came back up, he's there. You know what I mean? So I wanted him to win because he's guarding his line, and I understand that. And I went below the yellow trying to get through that wreck. If I don't go below the yellow, I'm in the wreck. So you're danged if you do, danged if you don't. So if I wreck him there, I probably get the lead, get the position taken away. So might as well just take second and take some money instead of no money. So that's not what I was trying to do to the 11. I was even coming over the radio after the race apologizing, saying, I'm sorry, I'm glad you won. You deserve to win. I don't want it to be done that way. I wouldn't want me to be done that way. But, if it's flip-flop, who knows? But that just is who I am as a person. Don't want to finish like that.
Yeah, it was a tricky situation, and also it's good that Michael did catch the car in that situation, of course, and with the special rules here in the league about the yellow line, also in the finish stage of the race, it's clear. But you, as I'm informed, correct, you won Talladega, and now having P2, I think we spoke so much about this racing series. And what is so special for you about this place here?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I love what Mr. Rideout's doing. I mean, he's got it going on. I mean, it's Gen 4 League's about to start up. That's going to be fun when we go to normal tracks. But like tonight, Daytona is just a weird track, and the car was pushing. We're going so fast. I mean, we're going 209 into turn 3 and 4. I mean, that's insane. And there's a lot of learning that has to be done, and we don't get enough pit parties and stuff like that. There's not a big enough field. You don't go that fast with two cars, so nobody knows, and you can't expect it to be perfect every race. And it just was struggling. The restarts were struggling with, single file. Everybody's on top of each other, and then this car you can't push, and we try pushing, and it's evil. I like a car that bites you. It makes you really show who you are as a driver, and it's so fun to drive, and I'm thankful for what he's doing, thankful for what y'all are doing, and I'm ready for the next one. Can we go to the next one right now? I'm loaded back in.
Yeah, and I hope that people watching get their teeth into this league and maybe will join the league on the Discord and then in the race. So what are you doing with your $150?
Yeah, I really don't know. I just kind of put it in a savings account and let it ride, let it build up. So, yeah, it didn't get in today's world. It don't get you very far, but it's fun to say that you get on this simulator and race and win some money while you're doing it. It's fun to tell people that. So,
Yeah,
that's awesome to do that. And he doesn't have to do any of this, Mr. Rideout, and he does it. And just thankful again for him and y'all putting on this broadcast.
Yeah, thank you too for the interview, and enjoy your little sim racing stimulus check then. Thank you, Daniel.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Well, that was Daniel Eberhardt finishing in second, and we have one more final interview here. We've got Jared Haynes joining us in the booth, the third place finisher. Jared, this is another situation that the seas parted for you coming to the checkered flag, not only once, but twice. How does it feel to win $100?
Feels pretty good, Joey. I'll tell you what, I got wrecked out of last month's race, and I was pretty bummed out. But this race just started pretty rough. And then we got to that final lap, and my spotter was like, just stay low. And sure enough, Red Sea parted and we were good to go.
It was. I mean, I believe you avoided a wreck down there in turn 1 on the last lap as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And then not only that, but then coming up off of turn 4, I mean, who is your lucky dog out there?
I have no clue, man, but I'll tell you, it was a heck of a race. I avoided probably eight of them tonight. Everybody just wanted to wreck in front of me. So,
well, talk to me about this series, because everybody that we've talked to, the drivers, they love the car combination. They love what this Rolling Thunder Racing Series is going to be about. What draws you to this series?
Mainly the drivers, the good spirits that are going through the track. Justin's pretty awesome dude as well. I'll tell you, I signed up for the league 3 months ago. So this is going to be my first year in it, but we get some great races through it.
Well, I think that if anybody out there is looking for an oval league, just between Jared here and everybody else that we've heard, definitely go sign up for Rolling Thunder out there. And Jared, before I let you go, $100 richer, what are you going to do with that $100? Are you going to invest it into the sim rig, or maybe go buy a nice steak?
I think I'm going to have to put it into the sim rig. I've been on a buying spree and my wife's not very happy with me. So maybe I'll even put it in her savings account or something. I don't know.
There you go. And anybody you want to give a shout out to before I let you go?
I'll shout out my son real quick. Jeremiah, I love you, bud. Good luck in your football game right now. I'm on my way.
Well, that was Jared Haynes, $100 richer after tonight here. The Speed Designs 212. The Rolling Thunder Racing Series. Well, thanks to the team today. That's going to do it. Sebastian, Ryan, and Dougie. Make sure to check out our social media, website, and merchandise store. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. The next race planned for the Rolling Thunder is the league opener at October 1st. And then also turn us on this Saturday, September 9th, 1 p.m. Eastern for the Camel Series. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.
boxed up. Can he find an opening? No, he's going to have to push his way through.
Now he's going to go for that big run again.
3 wide going into turns.
High line, right off the corner.
Oh, man.
He's up to 4th place already.
They're still going to be side by side.
And he's going to have to back out. Oh, he gets help. He gets turned around in a big moment. Oh.